gentlemen, from all around the world, coming to you from the Spit Studios in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. This is the Spit Sports Show. I am recording this about 2 minutes after the Bills-Jets game just ended. Oh my goodness gracious, I have a lot of thoughts about this game. I want to start with the Jets, obviously, because the big story coming out of this game, as it should be, Aaron Rodgers. Looks like something happened to his Achilles. The x-ray tests were negative on his ankle. So I'm assuming if the x-ray tests were negative and the ankle was the concern, he would have been back out there. It's the type of game, opener, Monday night in New York, 9/11. That's the type of game you play through that kind of ankle injury. So I'm assuming it's an Achilles. This is terrible for so many reasons. I want to start with my reasons why. First of all, the Jets have 5 standalone games coming up. I'm going to have to watch Zach Wilson on Monday and Sunday Night Football consistently for the next 16 weeks or 17 weeks of football. So that is incredibly disappointing. On the Jets side, obviously, this was your big cornerstone coming into the season. The fact that Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, is coming into your system with this unbelievable defense, and those things combined, what would he do? But I will say, I said coming into this year, he's 40 years old, doesn't take care of himself a lot, and behind that offensive line, which is questionable, and I'm going to talk more about that later, there was always a high possibility for him to get injured. Obviously, this is a freak accident, and I feel so bad for Jets fans. Future, obviously, they're feeling great now, but in the future, I feel really bad for them. But there's always this possibility, man, and it sucks. I hope he's okay, but if it is an Achilles that is torn or ruptured or anything along those lines, he's probably going to be out at least 4 months. And that kind of takes you to the end of the season playoff area. And with how the Jets played today, I don't think they're going to be in that playoff conversation by the time Rodgers gets back, if that's his injury timeline. I don't know, obviously. I don't have all the facts, but that's my first reaction to it. It's probably going to be a big injury. And for that to happen on the third play of the game, man, I really feel for the Jets. But I feel great for the Jets about this win. Holy moly. So that is as much of a team win as you could possibly have in the NFL, right? So I learned a lot of things about the Jets. And the main thing I learned about them is how right I was about them coming into this season. So their offensive line is terrible, especially in the tackle spots, which is exactly what I said before this game was going to happen. Their receiving core is average with a superstar at wide receiver, and that superstar made a superstar play, which kept them in this game. If Garrett Wilson doesn't make the week 1 catch of the year, you know what I mean, the Jets don't win this game. He was unbelievable. And another thing that I knew was going to be really good about the Jets was their secondary. And Lord, were they ever good, except for that one drive to get that field goal where Diggs had some awesome one-on-one plays against DJ Reed. The Jets looked formidable in their secondary and in their pass rush. Bills have a pretty good O-line. They chopped it up for most of the time. Jets O-line is horrendous. And they only won this game because Josh Allen gave it to them on a silver platter. So Josh Allen, man, this is as bad a game as you could have possibly had to start off the season, right? So first of all, before I talk about his horrific play and some plays that he could have made and didn't make, I want to start with this, man. He has to learn how to protect himself. Like, we've seen this so much. Like, we saw it with Cam Newton. We saw it with Ben Roethlisberger, even to a certain effect. Like, these big guys coming into the NFL, they think they can just take this punishment over and over again because they're physically imposing. You know, like Josh is 6'5", 240. He thinks he can take all of these linebacker hits and be just fine. You're not going to be, buddy. Your career isn't going to extend like a Brady or even a Rodgers to this point, and any of these guys who just slide and protect themselves. Guys, did you see that play where Josh Allen was about 5 yards back of the first down and he still tried to hurdle over 2 defenders instead of just sliding? Like, as soon as that happened, I said, oh my goodness, this guy's not going to be able to play another 3 years in the league if he keeps playing like this. I get why he does it, because for his first few years. Honestly, every season up until this season, the offense has been so reliant on him running that he needs every yard he can get so the offense can stay efficient. But now he's got a pretty good running game, man. James Cook looked really good, both catching and running the ball. I liked what they did on their run blocking, pulling guards and stuff like that. I thought they looked really good. But Josh Allen throwing the ball, man, oh my goodness gracious. His other problem, besides not protecting himself, is he has so much faith in his arm strength that he's going to be able to beat these safeties deep. And that's what two of his interceptions were. Too much faith in that rocket arm of his. Like, both of them were receivers running deep crosses, or in Diggs's case, it was a deep skinny post. And he thinks that he can just beat that safety over the top, and he just couldn't. Like, don't get me wrong, great play by that kid. I can't remember his name. 3 interceptions today. Awesome game by him, but you got to know your own limitations. And I get that he thinks he needs to be Superman most of the time, because let's be real, most of the time he does. But on those throws, man, he had a crosser, he had a drag route coming underneath on the first one that he could have checked down to for a guaranteed 4 yards, maybe more. I don't know what the rack would have looked like, but some bad decisions that you'd see out of a rookie kind of quarterback, not a guy who's considered a top tier quarterback going into his 6th season starting. Third interception to me wasn't his fault at all. Gabe Davis ran a terrible route. He was open in the corner. If he just made a fake to the inside like he was supposed to, that safety gets turned around and he's not able to jump the route that Josh threw. It was a perfect throw, but because Davis did such a bad job selling the inside cut, he was just able to jump it and get that third pick. That fumble, though, was his fault. That was atrocious, man. You cannot lose your focus and take your eye off the ball in a single back set like that. I think they were trying to run some sort of just counter play, and he had to pick it up. And he did pick it up, to his credit, off that fumbled snap, but then he didn't secure it. And he fumbled again, which is just a complete mental lapse, 2 straight back to back that gave the Jets a chance, and they ended up scoring and going to overtime because of that. Props to him for getting in field goal range so this game could at least go to overtime. I totally respect that, but that was more the magic of Stephon Diggs to me than it was of Josh Allen. And Josh Allen got the ball first in overtime. And on that third down, Diggs made a pretty good comeback route. He had some space. And if Josh made the same throw that he made trying to get that field goal to tie the game, where he put it right into Diggs' chest on that comeback route, perfect throw. If he makes that same throw again, they probably get the first. Now, I don't know what happens from there. The Jets had their number really all game, so I don't know if they score, but I definitely know that the drive would have continued. So Josh Allen had a horrendous first game, but I want to talk more about the Jets. And there's very rare times where you look at a team and everything you say about the team ends up coming true. But that's how I felt watching the Jets today. Like, receivers were above average just because of Garrett Wilson. Everyone else was just okay. Their offensive line was weak, especially on the outsides, which I said was going to be a problem for them. Obviously, we don't know how it would have looked with Aaron Rodgers. But on Aaron Rodgers' first 2 plays, he was 0 for 1. He got hurried on his one throw. So it's such a small sample size. It's hard for me to even brag about this. But he was pressured heavy, and that's the reason it went incomplete. But to end this off, I am very happy for Jets fans, because your worst nightmare took place. You're losing your franchise guy, a guy who was supposed to lead you to the promised land, on the 3rd play to what is obviously a pretty serious injury if it kept him out of that game. And you still end up being resilient, relying on your defense, and that punt return was absolutely electrifying. I said as soon as that punt was in the air and he caught it, he's got a chance to take this to the crib. Bad punt. It was too deep and too high. It gave him so much space to move. But he, to his credit, made the play, got into the end zone. I don't think the Jets would have been able to score, to be totally honest with you, if he didn't get that. And everything lined up. God made an appearance in this game, and the Jets were able to squeak one out against the Bills, who are going to be taking a massive step back this season if this is the type of performances they're going to put on against the divisional opponent on Monday Night Football without their quarterback. Bills are down bad right now. That is a horrendous first week. And give the Jets credit for not giving up, man. Like, the amount of deflation they must have felt when Rodgers went down after so much offseason hype, hard knocks, Super Bowl predictions, quote here, quote there. We're going to be the Legion of Boom in 2013. Rodgers is going to lead the league in pass, all of that. And he goes down in the third play, demoralizing, but the Jets still get on their high horses, still play their tails off, and end up squeaking out a win with Zach Wilson at quarterback. Props to them. Props to Robert Saleh, who definitely got himself a little bit more out of that hot seat that I think he was on coming into the season. I still think I still think the seat's warm, but he cooled it down a little bit with that win there. So congrats to him. Anyways, those are my thoughts on the game. Props to the Jets. As a Lions fan, I know what you're kind of going through right now, the worst nightmare coming true. Props to you guys. As always, let me know what you guys think, what you guys thought about the game. Do you think the Bills are not winning the division, not making the playoffs? What do you guys think about the Jets? What's their future looking like if Rodgers ends up having a significant injury? Please let me know. As always, thank you all so much for watching. The Spit Show comes out every other day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.